words of God surround us. So let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. We rest in God and say amen.
Greetings, everybody. Welcome to all of you here in person with me and all of you online. I'm Mark Sowell. I'll be your service leader today. Welcome. Our theme through July is Imagination, the Creative Power Within. Today, Rev Toni will delve more deeply, easy for me to say, into the topic from inner vision to outer reality. Let's put your phones on silent, your minds on quiet, and your hearts on open for our opening prayer. Let's begin with the beautiful words of spiritual leader Derek Rydell, who writes, "This world is just a canvas upon which we are painting and the colors of our soul, a screen upon which we are projecting the story in our heart." With that in mind, we move into prayer and become aware of the all-powerful, all-knowing, ever-present energy out of which we fashion our world. We realize that to create a life and world of harmony and peace, we need to come from harmony and peace. So deep within our consciousness, away from the chaos and the difficulties of the world, let's project a story of peace that passes all understanding and love that encompasses all. Let's hold steadfast to this vision so we can bring it into our outer reality. For this powerful gift of creative imagination, we give thanks, and so it is. Amen. We gratefully welcome back Bill Mann as our musician today. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you very much. Always good to be here.
I invite you to join him, standing or sitting, whatever is more comfortable for you, as he leads us in our opening song, I Am the Thinker.
I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things, that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things, that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. If you ask me who am I am wisdom, I am light. I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things, that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things, that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. If you ask me who am I am beauty, I am joy. I am more than meets the eye, cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things, that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things, that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. I can choose to be the light that brightens someone's darkest night. I'm so much more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. 'Cause I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things, that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things, that change my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life.
Yes, the thinker. I was thinking the other day, I was trying to remember why, Gretchen married me. And so I asked her, I said, well, why did you marry me? And she said, because you're funny and you make me laugh so much. And I said, I thought it was because I was charming and, good looking. She said, see, you're hilarious. All right, I'd like to, now we'd like to welcome anyone with us for the first time, whether it's in person, I don't think I see any new ones, or online with this special blessing together. We offer you peace, love, and friendship. We bless you, and we're glad you're here. Lynn will now ring the Tibetan bells and read the daily word.
We now move deeper into spirit with the reading of the daily word. The word for today, July 13th, 2025, is courage. God within me is the source of my courage. Worrisome and challenging events may leave me thinking I don't have the courage to face them. What I'm going through may feel like too much to bear. Then I remind myself that as a divine being, I have all the courage I could ever need. How I view myself has a strong bearing on how I handle moments of stress. If I tell myself I'm weak or unable to cope, that will probably be my experience. But if I affirm that God within is my power to rise above any worldly situation, I will feel courageous, empowered, and strong. Stressful moments may leave me feeling alone and afraid. With the presence and power of God within me, I realize that I am never alone and need not fear. This is the source of my courage. And the verse today is from Joshua 1:9. I hereby command you, be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened or dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Again, the word for today is courage. Let us now bring our attention to the prayer box. I invite you to silently add your own name and the names of anyone in your heart or on your mind who may need prayer support. We know that the truth behind all appearance of disharmony is the divine and perfect presence of God. We call forth within all people the wisdom and strength, the love and peace, the wholeness and vitality of this presence. We declare that divine healing power and wisdom is restoring, healing, and harmonizing our world, and guiding our leaders for the highest good of all in this very moment. We bless our global family and hold us all in the light of love and peace. We affirm that the requests in our prayer box and in our hearts and on our minds are being resolved in divine timing for the highest good of all concerned. May the love of God enfold us. May the peace of God uphold us. May the wisdom of God inspire us and help us to know in our hearts that all is well. And so it is. Please join me in the affirmation for today. Together. I am a powerful co-creator with the divine all, and I see with the eyes of faith an infinite possibility. And the affirmation for our beautiful spiritual center. Together. We give thanks that Unity of the Valley is a prosperous, thriving, inspired, connected community. We are growing spiritually and manifesting our dreams and goals in an energy of love, peace, and joy. And now Bill will sing a meditation song for us, correct?
Still I am, still I'll be, still inside I am free. I let go. Oh, I hold sweet release until I am still.
Still.
Let your bodies be still. Let the mind rest and be still. It's in that stillness, when things are quiet and we've released anxieties and disturbances and doubts and fears and just busyness, that we can clearly know the presence and the power, that we call God, that presence, that power that flows within us as us and connecting us with all that is. In this moment, with each breath that we take, let us deepen that stillness. Let us expand our awareness without motion, without disruption, just with a knowing deep, deep within us that there is only one. And that each of us are a vital, integral part, manifestation, presence of that oneness. With each breath, We find a peace in that knowing. That peace that passes all understanding. There is power in that peace. There is a power in that knowing. And so for a few moments now, let us rest in that stillness, in that silence, that power and that knowing. For we are one. And in that oneness, there is joy. There is love. There's compassion. There's abundance. There is sunshine. Birds, puppies, loved ones, all united. And we are so blessed.
Open up a door for love. There's no need to give it a shove, 'cause love will find a way. Love will find a way. It's gonna turn you around and lift you up and settle you down. Love will find a way. Love will find a way. You may find yourself wondering why love seems too shy to come around. But you will find if you open your heart, love's song will start and flow from the inside. There ain't no need to worry none. Just accept it. Love will come. Love will find a way. Love will find a way. You may find yourself wrapped up in fear, drowning in tears that you have cried. But you will find if you just let it go, love begins to show and quickly comes to overflow. So open up your heart and let the love come pouring in, and you will see love will find a way. Love will find a way. Love will find a way. Thank you. I thought you were always on.
I thought I was, you know? Okay, let's try this again. I wonder if there's the battery. Actually, you know what we're gonna do? You know how much I love behind the mic. But you see, one of the things that we know is there's always another way to do it, right? Now I'm just going to stick it on here. It's okay. No, that's all right. You know, sometimes the universe says, try it another way. Don't do it that way. Try it another way. Even though the universe knows that I just, for some reason, I'm supposed to stand right here and speak into this mic. Or I'm being obstinate and I don't want to try anything new. Pick one. Oh, Lordy, Lordy. That's, I think this is an interesting indication or an interesting observation that I have to make about myself in this particular lesson. Because you see, we've talked about what it is, imagination. We've talked about its power. We've talked about the fact that it's an internal thing for us. It is how we create our world. And that last week we talked about the proper use is not the word. I think Neville Goddard said masterful control and use of our imagination was to, in fact, see it as a partaker from the end point, as opposed to a viewer from the external seeing it, but actually being in it as we build it. Because when we're standing outside of it, looking at what our vision, what we want to manifest, we're never quite there. We're always looking at it, not being it. Which for me was a. I mean, we've known that. I've known that if you've studied unity at all, and even if you've just done some physiological, psychological work, you know. We talked about sports, the folks in sports. They image it until they got it in their cells, the cellular memory. Same kind of thing. And then it was interesting, earlier this week, somebody asked me, said, yeah, I get that, and I've been doing this visioning thing, and I see it, and I can feel it, and I can smell it. I just can't seem to make it come true. Why not? I thought about that. Have you ever had that experience of, I get this, I got it, I can see it, I can tell you the colors, I can tell you who's there, I can do that, but I can't seem to bring it into this life. I can't manifest it. Why not? And then I was, as I am wont to do, I was doing some research, and I came across a story that you might not think is immediately relevant, but hang with me. From Joseph Campbell. It was a story that he told in one of his books, interviews, I'm not sure where, about being in a restaurant, sitting next to a family, father, mother, and a kiddo. And, of course, he must have been sitting pretty close because he could hear the conversation really well. But he said the kid didn't want to eat his vegetables. I don't know about you, but I've got a son. I get it. He didn't want to eat his vegetables. And he was fussing, and the mom said, don't worry, he doesn't have to eat his vegetables if he doesn't want to. The father said, he can't have what he wants in life. Look at me, I'm 40, and I've never had what I wanted in life. Whew. My reaction was the same as what was reported as Joseph Campbell's reaction. Sad, heartbroken that a man who was 40 years old could say that. Now, my logical mind immediately went to, oh, but he was just exaggerating. He was just trying to say something, because surely he's had something in his life that he wanted. This was just a generalization. And I thought, well, that's my story, my rationalizing it away. What if it was true? Well, how could that happen? How could someone have gone through life and never have gotten what they wanted? Did he not have an imagination? Did he not see it and work toward it? Did he not know it inside himself that that was a possibility? What did he hear when he was growing up that limited what he could see? What is he hearing today in that moment that is telling him he can't? He doesn't deserve to have what he wants. He doesn't even sound like he doesn't even deserve to have a picture of what he wanted. And then I referred back to that question that somebody asked me earlier. Why can't I bring this vision out? What's getting in the way? When I was, I understand it is still a valid set of terms, but when I was in the other part of my life, it was very obvious that there was foreground processing and background processing in computers. And I understand that's still the case, but it's slightly different in some ways. But there are things that happen in the foreground, consciously interacting. User interaction is a foreground process. It's the consciousness. But there's also stuff that works in the background that runs the automatic processes that you don't even know happen. You're not even aware that they're going on, but without them, it doesn't work. We have foreground and background processing as humans. Our foreground is us being conscious here in this room. Being conscious of what I'm saying, what I'm not doing, you know? I'm conscious of this. My background processing is what's going on in my subconscious. What I was told as a child, what I hear day by day. I am programmed for that. So what am I being told? What was I told? And what am I being told today? And how does that impact my ability to manifest? Got any ideas?
Acceptance.
Acceptance. Acceptance of myself as worthy, good enough. It really is easy if I'm in alignment with what's truth. How many times have you told yourself, this is going to be hard. I don't know whether I can get this done. This is going to be hard. And you know what? It is. If I tell myself it's going to be hard, it's going to be hard. Now, if I say, this is going to be easy, I better have a faith underneath that says, this is going to be easy. And I'm not just BSing myself because it sounds good. Yeah? What do we hear around us in our world? Please take this one in with the love that it is given. Well, that's north of the river. Why would I want to go up there? What's wrong with north of the river? Up there, it's, geez, that's south of the river. Who wants to go down there? What's wrong with down there? What is implied in that? We don't mean it. I got great friends north of the river, and I enjoy going, well, except for the construction. Except for the construction, I enjoy going north of the river. But is there some implication, there's something running in background when we make those kinds of statements that we're not even aware of? I grew up in Louisiana, and we had a saying there that if you were born in South Louisiana, you had to be a Cajun, which means you really were a little bit weird. But if you were born in North Louisiana, you were a redneck. That's not, I can't say that I believed that, but I heard it. It entered into my body. It was an assumption that got built in. What we tell ourselves, what we absorb, whether we're conscious of the absorption or not, sticks. It sticks. Competition, you gotta compete. But remember, not everybody wins. How many times have we told children, you gotta compete, you gotta get out there, get it done. And then when they lose, well, not everybody can win, honey. What does that make me, Mom? A loser. Words are powerful, and they are the triggers and the building blocks for our imagination. They are. Our ability to image comes from our words, our thoughts, and our actions. There's not enough. In October, November, we're going to do a book study on Victoria Castle's book entitled Trance of Scarcity. And she opens up for me how we got into a place of believing that there is not enough in our world. Adam Smith defined capitalism as the way of managing scarce resources in our world. I didn't know that. It was part of the reading. Managing scarce resources. And yet what we know at some level is that if we have proper distribution and proper openings and manifestation processes, there's enough to feed everybody in this world. And more. How do we, I can dream that. I can envision it. I can see it happening with it. There is no lack in this world. People don't stand in line for hours for a bag of flour only to find that it is laced with oxycodone. Doesn't have to happen. There's enough for everybody. And yet we believe somehow or another we absorb the message that there's not enough. And then our actions are based on that not enough. There's another. So when somebody says, well, why don't I manifest it? Why can't I bring it out? Well, let's look at the 12 powers. Since imagination is one, the power to image, it is not in and of itself an alone thing. It's part of what's called an attractor landscape. I love that phrase. Strong attractors, places that pull energy. A center, a consciousness that attracts. We have 12 attractors in the 12 powers. Imaging is what creates, sees it. But it takes faith to believe that that's true. And it takes will to stick to it, even when it doesn't immediately happen. And it takes strength to know that it is possible. And strength in the sense of not just the faith. I can have a faith, but when the wind hits me, I have the strength to stand in that faith. There's an acronym, LIP, juice, flows. LIP, love, imagination, power. LIP, juice, judgment, understanding, zeal, flows. Faith, life, order, and wisdom. Don't you love it? I remembered them. The idea here is that imagination requires a connection and a utilization of those other 11 attractors. We can work with that order. If I have a vision for unity of the valley, and I have that vision, it takes some faith, but it also takes within me and within the community the ability to put things in proper order. To say, yes, we have to have space and people and money and literature and classes. But there's an order that flows in. If we get it out of order, we try to do one thing before we've done the other, we're out of order. Wisdom and understanding, those are not the same thing. I can understand something, but do I have the wisdom to apply it? Do I have the wisdom to see how it relates? These 12 faculties are also not new. Charles Fillmore did not pull them out of the air. You can find them in the Kabbalah, in the Hermetic principles. You can find them in Jewish texts, and in Jesus texts, and in Greek philosophy. Not all 12 in one place, but he did a beautiful job of bringing it all together and helping us find a way to bring the dream to manifestation. And it starts with putting ourselves in it and then making sure that the thoughts that we hold and the actions that we take on a day-to-day basis match it. Where we run into issues, as we have the vision, we see the vision. I can even see myself doing it. I think, was it last week or the week before, I described what I had seen for us, for me in that vision. But if on any given day, the action that I take does not support the movement to that, I'm shooting myself in the foot. If my words don't match that, or if I allow that little bit of doubt, well, you know, we're not filling the space. How are we ever gonna? We don't have enough money. How are we ever gonna? Nobody knows us. How are we ever gonna? We won't. We won't, in all probability. How does that show up in your life? How does it show up in any of our lives? What is the message that's running in the background that gets in the way of us acting in the day-to-day as we know the vision exists already? That's what we're told. In the absolute realm, it already exists. We've tapped in to see it, whether it's for this group or for your personal life. It already exists. How do we tap into that? We tap into that by holding the vision with faith. And then the actions that we take on any given day, in any given moment, are in alignment with what that is. When I was in high school, I was going to be a lawyer. I was going to run for the Senate. I was going to be a senator. And then I was told, well, women, this is back a long time ago, women aren't lawyers, especially not in Louisiana. And I was even given the name of a woman who was an attorney who told me, oh, you don't want to do that, honey. I'm an attorney, but I work as a law clerk in my husband's firm. That's not fun. That's not what you want. Okay, well, I won't do that, but I'll be in the Foreign Service. That's what I want to do. No, hon, you know, you really need to look at being a teacher. Nothing wrong with being a teacher. Please hear me with that. The teachers are amazing. I got family that are teachers. They're grossly underpaid and grossly unappreciated in many cases. But that wasn't what I wanted. I wanted to do the other thing. You really, you know, that's a woman's job is either a nurse or a secretary or maybe an English teacher. I didn't have the strength. I had not been given the strength to stand up and say, no, this is what I want, and this is how I'm going to do it. How many of us today want to stand up and say, this is what I see happening. I am in this. And yet the world tells us, no, you can't do that. Imagination is the image to create, the facility to image and create, and it requires all the other 12 powers. Working in conjunction with and in support of that ability to image. And it's not necessarily something that comes, no, see, what was I getting ready to do? Exactly. I was getting ready to say, and it's something that doesn't come easy. Really? What if it does? What if it does? See how easy it is? There's another one. See how easy it is? Yeah. Our imagination is powerful. It's creative. And it requires all those other 11 faculties to support it, to integrate with it. And it requires us to be aware not only of what's processing in foreground, but to understand what's behind that in background. Background is necessary. BS in background is not. And that's the piece that we have to get into and say, I learned that one a long time ago, but that's not a truth anymore. That's not me. I can do this. I am that. And what somebody else thinks of me is not my issue. It's theirs. I don't want to hurt them. I want to love them. I will love them. I do love them. And it's theirs. Because you see, we've always been told, be careful what other people think. You don't want them to think badly of you. Well, no, I don't want anybody to think badly of me. And at the same time, if I can't be authentically me, then I've lost my freedom. It's a fascinating thing, this. Powerful, foundational. Let's keep that imagination active and deeper and see it, know it, smell it, feel it, and then act on it every day, in every way. Yeah.
Thanks. Until about 5 minutes ago, I had no idea that I was going to invite you to sing on this song. I think this happened last time I was here too. But sometimes when the inner voice speaks, it will not accept no for an answer. So I just kind of have learned not to object too strongly. So here's the chorus to this song. This is called the bottom line. And the words are, if you can see it, you can be it. If you imagine it with your mind. If you believe it, you can free it. And that's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. So here's we'll go through it once. If you can see it, you can be it. If you imagine it with your mind. If you believe it, you can free it. And that's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. That'll be back. There's nothing we can't do if we are willing to let go our limitation. Trust in transformation, recognize that we are more than we will give us credit for. Open our imagination to the gift of all creation. If you can see it, you can be it. If you imagine it with your mind. If you believe it, you can free it. And that's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. Just open up your heart. There's no better place to start. Let that love come pouring in. And then begin to see the dream you want to view clearly there in front of you. And then do all that you can do and fill yourself with gratitude. If you can see it, you can be it. If you imagine it with your mind. If you believe it, you can free it. And that's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. This world will fill your mind with fears, but don't you let them in your ears. and keep your eyes upon the prize. Spread your wings, take to the sky and fly. If you can see it, you can be it. If you imagine it with your mind, if you believe it, you can free it. And that's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. You guys did great. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. I don't know that I've heard that song before, so well placed and well worded. So thank you.
I was given an exceptionally good subject to follow.
Yes, thank you, Reverend Toni, and I really liked how you wove the imagination and vision with the 12 powers, so excellent. Thank you. We now have the opportunity to give our love offering from our hearts. We invite you to give consciously in full awareness that the act of giving is the opportunity to develop and demonstrate greater trust in God as the ultimate source of all good. We affirm the natural blossoming of our own prosperity as well as that of the unity of the valley. If you like, hold your gift in your hand as we read together our love offering affirmation, or if you give electronically, you can take a colorful heart and put it in the plate to represent your offering. Please join me in this blessing. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am.
God is the source, each of us channels, guiding the good, flowing divine, one endless source, infinite blessings. Praise the Creator, thy will is mine.
Now please join me as a community in blessing this offering and good of any kind given so generously to Unity of the Valley this week. Together, thank you, God, for providing all the resources we need to accomplish our mission of transforming lives. We dedicate these gifts to your service and to the blessing of our larger community through all we teach and do here at Unity of the Valley. Amen. Thank you, Barb. All right. I have a few reminders, and please see your buzz as usual, the bulletin or the website for details. Also, feel free to take home the inside of your bulletin for reminders. First of all, happy birthday this week to Jerry, I understand, right? Yeah, yes. Happy birthday. 39 must feel good. Reminder to join the prayer chaplain on our Facebook page Tuesdays from 11 to 11:30 a.m. for a partly guided, partly silent meditation to inspire your week. On Sunday, August 3rd and 10th, Reverend Toni will be leading a two-part workshop, The Power of the Spiral, introducing perspectives on the evolution of individual and social consciousness and its relationship to spiritual transformation. We will outline the frameworks of conscious evolution and spiral dynamics and their relationship with the 5 unity principles. We'll also explore our own stages of development, engage in collective reflection, and identify spiritual practices to support personal and collective growth. 11:45 to 2:15 is the timing, and cost for the 2 is $50, and scholarships available. Register online or at the sign-up table. Saturday, July 19th is coming up, which is our circulation day. That's when we release things we've had so someone else can enjoy them. So I hope you've started to gather the things that you'd like to circulate. Everything will be free. It's a great opportunity to clear out the old and take home treasures that are new to you. We have a pod out in the parking lot so you can bring and store our items until the event. See the Buzz website or flyer for times or to bring your items. If you brought things today, the pod will be open after the service. Then on July 18th and 19th, we'll need volunteers to set the items and tables in the fellowship hall. So please sign up on the sheet in the hall if you're willing to help. Anything left over will be given to nonprofits.
Clarification?
Yes.
One clarification. If it's not raining, circulation day is outside, but Friday night we'll begin to set up here inside so that we don't have to drag the tables out. That's just make sure we're clear on that. And on Thursday and Friday, I will need some help to get stuff from Savage and from my garage and bring it over. So if we could get some help on that. And one more time, Friday night we'll be doing setup for clothes and stuff like that inside. And then if it's not raining on Saturday morning, we'll take it outside. But we can't set up the clothes and stuff outside on Friday night. So, okay? On Friday and Saturday? Thursday and Friday, 4 o'clock on Thursdays, so that folks can come, and I would say Friday, we'll be doing a bunch of stuff all day, so whenever, okay? All right, and we've already got almost a full pod, plus the stuff at Savage, plus the stuff at my garage, and I haven't even brought my stuff yet. So, bring it on, bring it on. And if you could stay this afternoon, anybody that stay for a little while this afternoon to help us sort out the pod just a little bit so we can get more in it, would be helpful. Okay, thanks. And I didn't have my mic on, so they didn't hear that. Sorry.
Hopefully you're loud enough that maybe it got caught down below. All right. Today after the service, if you'd like one-on-one prayer support, Prayer Chaplain Lynn Beckedahl would be honored to pray with you over by the prayer angel in the corner. Please stand now for our prayer for protection. Together. The light of God surrounds us, we are that light. The love of God enfolds us, we are that love. The power of God protects us, we are that power. The presence of God watches over us, we are that presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And our affirmation for the day, I am a powerful co-creator with the divine all, and I see with the eyes of faith and infinite possibility. Bill will now lead us in our closing song, Let There Be Peace on Earth.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our Creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow.